A year-long investigation implicates 5 officials in Parliament's fire.
Israel's government has no red lines anymore, and it should be held responsible and punished.
The blame game after a deadly bombing at a hospital in Gaza. Almost 20 million rand. That's what us taxpayers have overpaid for unqualified state officials. Hello, I'm Jane Dutton.
This is Eyewitness News.
The devastating bombing of the Al Ahli hospital in northern Gaza, full of young, old, desperately ill hospital staff and people who sought refuge there with nowhere else to go. Israel is blaming a Palestinian Islamist jihad group, saying they're responsible for a failed rocket launch which killed more than 500 people.
The highest probability appears to be that this was an Islamic jihad rocket. And as crazy as that sounds, the statistics are clear. In past rounds of fighting, some 33% of Islamic jihad rockets that were fired into Israel fell short and landed.
Palestinian officials claim Israel committed a massacre there, and this could have been prevented.
Had the Security Council shouldered its responsibility yesterday and stopped the fighting yesterday, stopped the war, the aggression, the crime against our people yesterday, then we would have been able to have those 500 killed still alive and with us.
Israel has been bombing the densely populated Gaza Strip for more than a week now, following Hamas's surprise attack earlier this month. US President Joe Biden has held talks with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today.
The thing that I found in just this real quick meeting with all of you is none of your hearts have turned to stone yet. Every one of you talked about what you have to do. Every one who talked to you about having to reach out. Talked about whether or not they're a Jew or a Muslim. Reach out.
The ANC has described the blast as a genocidal crime. It's calling on the world to descend on Palestine to see the humanitarian crisis unfolding there for themselves.
The ANC strongly condemns the genocidal crime that took place yesterday in the Gaza Strip, wherein a hospital was bombed. The ANC further calls on government and the international community to ensure organs like the International Criminal Court and the International Court of Justice act with the required speed to address these crimes against humanity.
South Africa has offered itself as a neutral negotiator in the war. International Relations Minister Naledi Pandor called Hamas last night. We wait to hear the outcome of the conversation with Israel. In the meantime, the desperate hunt continues for any survivors of last night's atrocity. More than a year after a fire ripped through Parliament, we learn more about those responsible for the devastation. 5 Parliament officials have been implicated for both system and human resource lapses that contributed to the fire that gutted the National Assembly building in January 2022. Secretary to Parliament Xolile George has today revealed the findings of an internal investigation commissioned a year ago. It's found the fire could have been prevented if the parliamentary precinct was better secured. It's also found a host of fire security measures, such as doors and alarms, that were not functioning properly. The decision not to deploy parliamentary security staff at night, on weekends and public holidays also contributed to the security breach. Only one person, Zandile Mafe, is currently facing criminal charges relating to starting the fire. Contrary to popular belief, it is not Misizulu Ka Zwelithini's birthright to be king of the Zulu nation. AmaZulu royal prince Mbonisi Zulu says this is because Ka Zwelithini was not entitled to the throne by birthright since his father did not name him as his successor. Advocate Tabani Masuku, who is representing Mbonisi, has poked holes into the argument that Misizulu had a birthright to become king. He reminded the court that the late Goodwill Zwelithini nominated his wife, Queen Mantfombi, as regent in his will. Masuku says this confirmed succession is not automatically decided by birth.
Because the king can never be suggested that he didn't understand the traditions that govern succession. He understood them very well. And all the sons that are eligible, were old enough to be identified, or at least to be considered for identification as potential successors.
It's the third and final day of Prince Semakade's application to overturn the certification of his half-brother as the Zulu king. And judgment has been reserved.
And having regard to the interest in the matter and the importance of the matter to the kingdom and the monarchy, the AmaZulu people and indeed all parties to this litigation are entitled to a proper consideration of the matter.
And up it goes. Again, inflation has risen to the same levels as last year. The Consumer Price Index rose from 4.8% in August to 5.4% in September. Could this prompt the SA Reserve Bank to rethink rate hikes next month? Stats SA has attributed the latest increase in the CPI to the higher petrol prices in the country. There's also been 3 consecutive fuel price increases, pushing the price of fuel over 25 Rand per litre, reaching some of the highest prices since August 2022.
The CPI increased by 0.6% between August and September, of which 0.4% was contributed by transport. The fuel index increased for a second consecutive month, rising by 7.6% between August and September. The price of inland 95-octane petrol hit a 13-month high of 24.54 Rand in September.
It seems people who don't know what they're doing are being used to facilitate corruption at high levels. The Special Investigating Unit says unqualified state officials have led to excessive pricing for state official funerals amounting to almost 20 million Rand. The SIU told Parliament Finance watchdog Scopa that it's still in the process of recovering the funds. The money was overpaid to service providers who worked on special official funerals of people like Winnie Madikizela Mandela, former Minister Zola Skweyiya and Edna Molewa. The SAU has also briefed Scope on investigations into the maintenance of ministerial residences and state-owned houses where it's made criminal referrals.
And there's a possible excessive pricing and double invoicing to the value of 8 million that we have identified. And the department allowed the unqualified official that is intended to perform the procurement process.
Are you doing okay?
No, I'm not, actually.
It's not looking good for actor Alec Baldwin. He could still be charged again with voluntary manslaughter over the fatal shooting on a film set in 2021. Baldwin, who starred in the movie Rust, was pointing a gun at cinematographer Helena Hutchins when it went off, killing her. The actor has always maintained his innocence, saying he never pulled the trigger. Now it seems a grand jury will be handed evidence in the next 2 months. That's it from me, Jane Dutton, and the Eyewitness News team. See you for more tomorrow. Remember to like and subscribe.
Eyewitness News. In touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, log on to ewn.co.za or ewn.mobi.